I'll start. Hi, my name is Sarah Malik, and I'm the CEO and founder of Achillea Peer Tutoring. So there are more than 400,000 kids in foster care, and about only 54% of them graduate high school or get a GED, and less than 3% get a college degree. We wanted to, further add to the UN Sustainable Development Goals of quality education, which is number 4, and reduced inequality, which is number 10, through Achillea, which is a youth-led organization that provides peer tutoring services from high school tutors to K through 12 students who are in foster care, discharged from foster care, or at risk of entering the system. So this is a map of all of the 24 states that Achillea has reached, plus Jamaica and Canada, actually. We started in September, but we became national, almost half a year ago. Before COVID, we were a Hunter College High School club, 2 years ago with 5 members. And the reason I had started the club was because I had been in foster care. But now we have 15 students on staff and 100 students matched with 120 tutors from these 24 states, and we provide 122 hours of tutoring per month. And so how do we get this done? So for vetting the tutors, our tutors go through interviews, teacher recommendations, report card checks, and training exams. 97% of our tutors residing in New York City attend highly selective schools with an acceptance rate of less than 10%. And 98% of our tutors take honors classes with an average GPA of 3.9 out of 4. And then, they have to take the training exam, and then once they pass, they're automatically entered into our database where we match students and tutors based on availability, grade levels, subject requests, bilinguality, and minimum age gaps. The reason we also accommodate bilinguality is because some of our students are ESL speakers, so English is not their primary language, so we do accommodate foreign languages. And then we have tutor managers that check in regularly with tutors to offer support and resources. And our tutors take detailed notes of sessions and send monthly reports to agencies to track student progress. I actually took a screenshot of these PDF reports so that I could go through it with you and just give you a rundown on how it works. So for this tutor, her name is Mia Colfie, and she's got a co-tutor. And she is filling it out for the month of May, and she spent 2.5 hours volunteering this month. And over the month of May, her student missed 4 sessions 4 times, which is problematic. The general cause of the absence was because of device and Wi-Fi issues. As you can see over here under the technical issues category, she said her students' Wi-Fi issues negatively affected their performance this month. She said she rated that as 5, so strongly agree, and the same thing for device issues. The reason I enclosed a report that shows less favorable outcomes, I could have enclosed a report with all 5s, that says students, the student's focus is amazing, the student's participation is amazing, etc. Student wasn't absent at all, was because, realistically, a lot of our students, because of, diverse socioeconomic statuses, they don't have access to stable Wi-Fi or stable internet. So the reason we take these reports is so we can look for any issues and then advocate for them to get the resources they need to their agencies. So after we get these reports, tutor managers will reach out to agencies to let them know, because it's bad enough that they're missing out on our tutoring sessions, but if they don't even have stable Wi-Fi and devices, then how are they attending school? So their education is really suffering, and we're advocating for that. For improvements. And then, so, I guess the question is, why Achillea? Why this business model particularly? Well, for tutors, they're compensated with community service credit, which is a graduation requirement for most high schools. And tutors receive comprehensive training that goes beyond sessions, which we're currently animating into videos. This is a screenshot of what our website looks like for the training resources. As you can see over here, 91% of tutors said they learned something new about the foster care system, which is this module over here, foster care awareness. 100% of tutors said they learned trauma-informed practices that can better inform their relationships with others, which is over here. 100% of tutors said they learned sustainable teaching techniques, which goes under teaching fundamentals. By the way, these are actually all linked to our training. I've also linked her website, so I can share access to this presentation after I'm done, so you guys can look at it if you want to. So then, same question, why Achillea from the student's perspective? So I did a little math equation here. Peer dynamics, because it's peer tutoring with minimal age gaps, leads to long-lasting friendships where students and tutors share common experiences, and that leads to students feeling more comfortable asking for help and increased student engagement. Most tutoring agencies will only help children actively in foster care, and there are about 400,000 kids actively in foster care per year, but 600,000 who enter the system per year. So 200,000 are discharged, receiving preventive services, and they usually don't get proper academic support because they're seen as less in need of support, even though they've experienced the same challenges. So we are helping them as well. We're not just helping students actively in care. 100% of foster youth experience trauma and 25% have PTSD. So TIC training helps tutors identify student triggers to avoid re-traumatization and create a safe space. And most of our New York City tutors attend specialized high schools, like I said, the 97%, which helps motivate marginalized groups who may not otherwise consider applying. As you know, the specialized high school system is not really favorable to youth of diverse socioeconomic statuses. And then 67% of our administration has lived experience in foster care, including myself, which shapes student-friendly policies and procedures. So here are some quotes that we took. So Ayana, an Achillea alumni now in college, said, "I don't feel so judged not knowing something when the tutors appear." She said that, Achillea hasn't only motivated her academically, but it also, motivated her to strive to do better. And then on the right is Alice Hellman, which is one of our tutors. This is actually from an Instagram post. We've linked Instagram as well here. She says, "For all my life, it's been my dream to teach, and being a tutor here at Achillea has brought me so much joy. I'm so glad to be helping those who need it while doing what I love." So where we're at now, we have applied for 501c3 nonprofit status, and we're currently under fiscal sponsorship to get premature tax exempt status so we can accept those donations and make them tax exempt. We formed our board of directors last month, which are these two over here, Sarah Childs, the CEO of the Rett Horowitz Foundation, and Bill Baccaglini, the CEO of the New York Foundling. The Foundling has pledged $10,000 to Achillea, and Sarah, because she's the CEO of the Rett Horowitz Foundation, she knows a lot about the grant writing process. So we have a bunch of grant writers from the Foundling who are working with us for free, guided by Sarah Childs, to create proposals for more donations from Foundation so we can go beyond the 10,000. And then how do we plan on sustaining our model? Fundraising, grant proposals, like I mentioned, pitches to other business incubators like DYCD, need for service fees for out-of-state foster care agencies with special needs budgets, social media marketing. TikTok posts. We had one recruiting tutors, which got 35,000 views and 13,000 likes, and submitting to other publications like Chalkbeat, which we have been published in. So our goal is scaling beyond 24 states. So we're going to establish more Achillea chapters across the country. We're establishing chapters in all specialized high schools in the fall, and we plan on expanding to college. I guess another important one here is paying salaries. All of our staff are female and most of them are color. So it's important to compensate them at an early stage so they know that their time is valuable. And then we have incentivized programs to reward youth for their hard work, consistent attendance. We've noticed the progress they've made and we want to celebrate it. And we want to pay for audits to get our infrastructure evaluated and attract more donors so that, we can run a better, more efficient business model. So then what we need for budgeting. So, although we have a bunch of people working on grants, if we focus on that, we could hire contract grant writers and pitch deck consultants. Most grants under $50,000 take 15 to 25 hours to write. We only need 15 because we've done the majority of the work ourselves. I've actually written most of the proposals under the guidance of Sarah Childs and the other workers. I did the math over here, and it turns out that a smaller grant with a flat fee of
30 seconds left
is the best because it allows us to submit 3 to 5 applications, as you can see over here. I did some of the math, but and the reason we want to submit 3 to 5 applications is because 89% of respondents who submitted that number were awarded at least one grant, and 69% were awarded 2 to 5 grants. And then, maybe we can get some kind of discount further so that we can submit more, because, we have been getting pro bono services from Kirkland and Ellis. So I'm sure we can get it from other places as well. And then here's my contact information, my email, my phone number, the Achillea website, the Achillea email, Achillea Instagram, and our Chalkbeat article.
Thank you.
Would you like me to share this presentation with you so you can go through some of the links?
Okay, the floor is open for the judges now to ask you questions so they can respond to your inquiry.
Okay.
Sarah, yeah, so I think that was a very good presentation, and obviously, you've done a lot to think through this whole problem, and I think it's great what you're doing. I see that as far as trying to set up a nonprofit to accomplish some of your goals, it looks like you've got most of the items checked that you need to have checked, and you've also looked, sort of reached out to folks, for assistance in areas that you may not have been aware of, what was necessary. So, I mean, all I can say is a very good job. There really wasn't much more I can say after that. So very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with Peter. Just a couple of quick notes. There are two things that you are providing as part of this training that is incredibly valuable, and you should focus more on. One is the TIC training, trauma training. You should play that up. That should be a huge thing for you. Also, you had a link to foster care discussion. That's something else that, as you're doing your pitches to these grant boards and to other businesses that you're looking to get sponsorship for, make sure that is a bigger part of the presentation. The fact that this is a woman and minority-run business in this particular corporate environment, these days, with everything that's going on in this country, that should be the first thing that you say. Because, corporate sponsorship, they'll jump all over this. Like, if I'm running diversity and inclusion at a major bank, and I see this, and you say it's a woman-owned business, it's you're working with people in foster care, special needs, I'm putting you at the top of my list to give my money to. So just, as you're reading through this and revising it, make sure that you just take those notes and keep that in your mind.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
I also am inclined to agree with fellow judges there about the importance of this project. I think, particularly as we're in a pandemic learning gap, I think both municipalities and states will really should really embrace it as a best practices model for pairing peers and also helping to push into the areas where sorry about that. So I just wanted to conclude with 2 points, which is first, I don't know if you mentioned whether both the tutors and the students get to offer feedback. I think the progress report document seemed very sort of fleshed out, but I do think it'd be helpful to have a two-way opportunity for feedback around that engagement. I also just have a question mark around vetting tutors from specialized high schools, because I think statistically, and this is something that the mayor has raised and that is sort of at the fore, there isn't a high representation of students of color at specialized high schools. And so that would inevitably mean that students of color are not likely to be part of the pool that become tutors for the target students. And I guess to extend that, I would say I think it's great that there are females of color on your staff, but I think it would be equally great to increase the participation of males of color, both as tutors and on your staff for balance and for some of the things that the Department of Education has raised as being important, and having that type of representation in the educational space. So those are my those are my three sort of feedbacks. I think this is off to a great start. But these 5 points around representation and watching how pulling from specialized high school could undermine what you're looking to achieve, I think is important.
Right. If I may, we don't only allow students who go to specialized high schools to volunteer, but that is a big part of our New York City tutor pool. We do have tutors from 24 states. So the New York City specialized high school only applies to New York. And I had touched upon how there isn't a lot of diversity within those schools, which is amazing that these students get one-on-one tutoring from students who are currently at those schools, because it helps motivate those marginalized communities to apply, and it also helps them prepare for those skewed and biased tests. I'm also a woman of color, and I got into a specialized high school, but I know that it's hard for other minorities. So having that one-on-one interaction with students who are currently in those specialized high schools can actually really help minorities and other marginalized groups. And to answer your question about getting feedback from both sides, we do have students fill out surveys to see how their matches are going, how they're feeling, if they think there's any way we can improve. We have tutors filling out detailed notes after every session, so we're staying on top of all of it. And then when both students and tutors submit these reports, it goes into our automated system where it creates PDF files, and then it's then emailed to these foster care agencies and caregivers. So everyone is kept on the loop on the student's progress, so anyone can pitch in.
Thank you.